Dale Evans died tragically after revealing her last husband. Secret, Dale Evans was born. Frances Octavia Smith, on October 31, 1912, in Uvalde, Texas, came into the world during a time of great social and economic change in the United States. She was the only daughter of Betty Sue Wood and T. Hillman Smith, a family of modest means who experienced their share of instability. Dale's early life was marked by emotional hardship and frequent dislocation, which played a formative role in shaping her resilient spirit. Due to challenges within her immediate family, including financial strain and instability in her parents' marriage, Dale was sent to live for extended periods with her uncle, Dr. L.D. Massey, a respected internal medicine physician who held the title M.D. F.A.C.P. Fellow of the American College of Physicians in Osceola, Arkansas. Dr. Massey's influence likely provided a stabilizing presence during her turbulent youth and exposed her to a more structured, educated environment, one that would be far removed from the path she would eventually take in the entertainment world. At the tender age of 14, Dale made a choice that would dramatically alter the course of her life. She eloped with Thomas F. Fox, a man older than she, entering into a premature and unstable marriage. A year later, at 15 years old, she became a mother with the birth of her only biological child, Thomas F. Fox. The marriage, as might be expected, given the circumstances and her youth, quickly disintegrated. By the age of 16, Dale found herself abandoned by her husband, alone in Memphis, Tennessee, and suddenly thrust into the daunting role of a single mother, a condition that was socially stigmatized at the time. Yet rather than succumb to despair, Dale began to seek out work to support herself and her young son. Her efforts to survive during this difficult period reflect the grit and determination that would become hallmarks of her character. During these challenging years in Memphis, Dale began to pursue a career in music, a passion that had always been close to her heart. She landed a job at a local radio station where she was initially employed in a secretarial position, but soon proved herself to be much more than a capable assistant. She displayed a natural musical talent, singing and playing the piano with a voice and presence that quickly caught the attention of her superiors. As she began performing on the air, Dale realized that her birth name lacked the easy charm and marketability desired in the entertainment business. In the early 1930s, while working at WHAS radio station, the station manager suggested that she adopt a stage name that was more appealing to the public. It was then that she became Dale Evans, a name chosen for its crisp, melodic sound and its suitability for radio, a medium that favored memorable and easily pronounced names. The name change would mark a turning point in her budding career. As Dale Evans, she transitioned from a secretary to a featured radio performer, carving out a space for herself as a jazz, swing, and big band singer, genres that were immensely popular at the time. Her expressive voice combined with her charisma and stage presence earned her widespread recognition on the airwaves. Eventually, her growing popularity led to a screen test with 20th Century Fox, one of the major Hollywood studios of the era. Impressed by her photogenic looks and musical talent, the studio signed her to a contract, bringing her into the fold of the movie industry. Dale's early work included performances in musical shorts and feature films, and she also gained national radio exposure as a featured singer on the Edgar Bergen Charlie McCarthy Show, which was one of the most popular radio programs of its time. This opportunity gave her a national platform and widened her fan base, paving the way for her future success in film and television. Amidst her rising career, Dale experienced continued personal turmoil. She went through 2 more failed marriages, the first to August Wayne Johns, a union that lasted from 1929 to 1935, and the second to Robert Dale Butts, a talented accompanist and musical arranger from 1937 to 1946. Although neither of these marriages produced children, they brought emotional complexity and heartache. During this time, she was also navigating the pressures of Hollywood, where public image was paramount. While under contract at 20th Century Fox, the studio chose to conceal her status as a divorced mother, instead promoting her as a single woman caring for her teenage brother Tommy, a public relations fiction that reflected the era's conservative views about women and single parenthood. This deception was maintained even after her divorce from Butts, and into the years she began working with cowboy icon Roy Rogers at Republic Studios, where she would eventually rise to stardom as a cowgirl heroine. In 1947, Dale's life took a dramatic and ultimately joyful turn. On New Year's Eve, she married Roy Rogers, a beloved figure in American entertainment known as the King of the Cowboys. Their wedding took place at the Flying L Ranch in Davis, Oklahoma, the very location where they had previously filmed the movie Home in Oklahoma. The marriage was the third for Rogers and the fourth for Evans, but it proved to be a true partnership in every sense, professionally, personally, and spiritually. Their union became one of Hollywood's most iconic and enduring relationships. Shortly after their marriage, Dale publicly acknowledged that her brother Tommy was in fact her son, thus ending the long-maintained studio fabrication and embracing her identity as both a mother and a public figure. At the time of their marriage, Roy already had 3 children from his previous marriage to Grace Arlene Wilkins, an adopted daughter named Cheryl, and 2 biological children, Linda and Roy Jr., known affectionately as Dusty. With Dale, he would find a partner who shared not only his screen presence, but also his values. Together, Roy and Dale had 1 biological child, Robin Elizabeth Rogers, born in 1950. Robin was born with Down syndrome, and her short life, she passed away just before her 2nd birthday, deeply impacted Dale. Rather than hide or feel ashamed of Robin's condition, Dale responded with compassion, courage, and advocacy. She channeled her grief and love into writing the book, Angel Unaware, which was published in 1953 and became a bestseller. The book was written in the voice of Robin herself, and its heartfelt message helped to raise awareness and change public perceptions of children with developmental disabilities. It had a lasting cultural impact and inspired many families facing similar challenges. Dale Evans became a prominent voice in advocating for children with disabilities. Her candor and empathy touched a nerve in a society that often relegated such children to the shadows. Her advocacy helped humanize and destigmatize developmental disabilities in a way that was rare at the time. In recognition of her influence, a group originally known as the Oklahoma County Council for Mentally Retarded Children chose to rename their organization the Dale Rogers Training Center, a significant gesture that underscored the impact of Dale's work in this area. The center became one of the leading institutions dedicated to serving individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, offering job training, education, and support for families. In addition to her advocacy, Dale Evans continued her career as an author of religious and inspirational books, publishing more than a dozen works that reflected her deepening Christian faith and commitment to spreading messages of hope, love, and perseverance. Alongside Roy, she became a frequent guest and performer at the Billy Graham Crusades, where the couple sang gospel songs, shared their Christian testimonies, and encouraged audiences across America to embrace faith as a guiding force in their lives. These appearances further solidified their image as wholesome, God-fearing American icons. Dale and Roy expanded their family through adoption, choosing to give a home to children in need. They adopted 4 more children, Mimi, Dottie, Sandy, and Debbie, and provided a nurturing environment grounded in faith, music, and compassion. The couple's home was filled with both the challenges and joys of a large family, and they used their platform to promote the importance of adoption, family unity, and unconditional love. Together, Dale Evans and Roy Rogers built a legacy that transcended entertainment. They were symbols of American ideals, faith, family, love, and perseverance, and their lives served as an example of how to face adversity with grace. Dale's journey from a teenage mother, abandoned in Memphis, to a national icon and champion for children with disabilities is a testament to her incredible strength, talent, and unwavering moral compass. Her influence continues to resonate today in the lives of those she inspired and the organizations that carry her name. From 1951 to 1957, Dale Evans and her husband Roy Rogers starred together in the beloved and iconic television series The Roy Rogers Show, which brought their wholesome cowboy and cowgirl personas into millions of American homes each week. The series was a huge success during its 6-year run, becoming one of the most enduring and recognizable westerns in early television history. Evans played herself, a strong, kind-hearted, and courageous cowgirl who frequently aided Roy in battling outlaws and defending justice in the fictional town of Mineral City. She rode her trusty buckskin horse, Buttermilk, who became nearly as famous as Trigger, Roy's golden palomino. Buttermilk, small and nimble, was known for his loyalty and quick responses, complementing Dale's on-screen bravery and determination. The show also featured Bullet the Wonder Dog and a cast of recurring characters, cementing the Rogers-Evans team as paragons of Western virtue and American family values. To maintain the action-packed and often physically demanding stunts on the series, Evans had a stunt double, Alice Van Springsteen, a talented and fearless performer in her own right. Van Springsteen doubled for Evans in many of the more dangerous scenes, such as riding at breakneck speeds, tipping over wagons, and jumping railroad tracks. She was also known for her work doubling Gail Davis, who starred as the title character in the popular Annie Oakley television series. Alice's work behind the scenes was instrumental in helping female Western stars maintain their tough and capable screen presence while ensuring their safety during hazardous stunts. Thanks to her skill, Dale Evans was able to embody the spirit of a true frontier heroine, admired by both girls and boys during a time when such role models were scarce. Beyond her television fame, Dale Evans was an accomplished artist with a prolific output in multiple creative fields. In addition to co-starring in more than 30 feature films, mostly westerns alongside Roy Rogers and other leading cowboys of the day, she also enjoyed a robust musical career. Evans was credited with writing or co-writing around 200 songs, many of which were performed by herself and Roy on radio, television, and stage. One of her most enduring contributions to American popular culture was the composition of the song Happy Trails, which she wrote herself. This cheerful and heartfelt tune became the signature closing song for The Roy Rogers Show and served as a musical benediction to fans across the country, ending each episode with the wish that their journeys in life would be safe and joyful. The song has since become synonymous with the Rogers-Evans legacy and is an enduring classic of both Western and children's music. As the show evolved, especially in its later seasons, Dale Evans began to express her deeply held Christian beliefs more openly through her character and public appearances. She became increasingly vocal about her faith, using her platform to offer messages of hope and encouragement. She regularly spoke directly to her audience, often telling viewers, both young and old, that God was always present and willing to help them through life's struggles. Evans saw her fame as a God-given opportunity to uplift others, and she frequently ended episodes with gentle spiritual advice, encouraging people to place their trust in a higher power. Her Christian faith became a cornerstone of her public identity and would continue to define her work in the years that followed. In late 1962, she and Roy took their partnership in a new direction by co-hosting the Roy Rogers and Dale Evans Show, a comedy Western variety program broadcast on ABC. The show blended musical performances, sketches, and cowboy-themed segments in a format that reflected the duo's signature style. However, despite their popularity and charm, the show struggled in the ratings, facing stiff competition from The Jackie Gleason Show, which was experiencing high viewership during its debut season. After only 3 months on air, the Rogers-Evans variety show was canceled. Nonetheless, the attempt marked their transition from traditional Western stars to all-around entertainers, willing to try new formats to connect with audiences. During the 1970s, Dale Evans continued to channel her passion into religious music, recording several solo albums focused on Christian themes. These albums included gospel songs and inspirational hymns that resonated with audiences seeking spiritual comfort and guidance. Her soft yet earnest voice conveyed a sincere faith that many listeners found uplifting. Throughout the 1980s, Evans and Roy Rogers took on a new role as beloved elder statespersons of the Western genre. They were invited to introduce their classic films each week on the Nashville network TNN, a cable television network dedicated to country music and rural-themed programming. These introductions allowed the couple to reminisce, share behind-the-scenes anecdotes, and reflect on their legacy with warmth and gratitude. By the 1990s, Dale Evans had fully embraced religious broadcasting. She hosted her own Christian television program where she shared stories, gave interviews, and offered spiritual insights that encouraged viewers in their own journeys of faith. In a television landscape that was often secular and fast-paced, Evans's show provided a peaceful and uplifting alternative, and it further cemented her role as a spiritual mentor to many. Dale Evans's contributions to the entertainment industry were recognized with high honors. For her early work in radio, she was awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, located at 6738 Hollywood Boulevard, marking her impact on one of the most influential forms of media during the 20th century. Her second star, located at 1737 Vine Street, commemorates her achievements in television, where she had brought joy to millions and helped shape the image of the American cowgirl for generations. In 1976, Evans was inducted into the Western Performers Hall of Fame at the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum in Oklahoma City, a prestigious honor that placed her among the greatest figures in the history of the Western genre. In 1995, she was also inducted into the National Cowgirl Museum and Hall of Fame in Fort Worth, Texas. This recognition celebrated not just her entertainment career, but also her trailblazing role as a strong, independent woman in an industry and genre historically dominated by men. Her influence continued to be felt when, in 1997, she was inducted into the Texas Trail of Fame, an organization dedicated to honoring individuals who have made significant contributions to the Western way of life. Her legacy in country music was also formally recognized in 2002, when Country Music Television (CMT) ranked her number 134 on its list of the 40 greatest women in country music, acknowledging her influence on the genre's development and her timeless appeal as a performer and songwriter. Dale Evans died tragically after revealing her last husband's secret. Rogers died of congestive heart failure on July 6, 1998, in Apple Valley, California. He was buried at Sunset Hills Memorial Park in Apple Valley, as was his wife, Dale Evans, 3 years later. Roy Rogers hid his illness and felt guilty about it until his wife, Dale Evans, found out. Roy Rogers regretted many things he could not do for his loved ones due to his busy life and work. Everything pressed on him indescribably, according to his third wife. Dale Evans was the third wife of singing cowboy Roy Rogers. After 3 years of sadness before his death, she felt a marked decline in health with the misfortune of suffering congestive heart failure with him. But perhaps for her, the most painful thing in life is the loss of loved ones, children, and her husband. Evans died of congestive heart failure on February 7, 2001, at the age of 88, in Apple Valley, California. She is interred at Sunset Hills Memorial Park in Apple Valley next to Rogers.